Leeds United made the most of their second chance in the European Cup against Stuttgart, the team they say has more foreign reserves than the Bank of England. Leeds won 2-1 in Barcelona in front of a tiny crowd. Their hero was Talking Shutt. He scored the winner less than a minute after coming on as a substitute, and tomorrow's his birthday.
Good evening, hello, and welcome to episode 184 of the Talking Shutt podcast. I'm your host, Gaz, and I'm joined tonight from Ben's Kitchen by Ben.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
I want to do like a proper American intro.
I know, I'm going for it, but Barnsley
what would
tones
an American
don't quite
say?
go American. Hey!
Hey,
Howdy.
Howdy.
Yeah. Probably part of it. Anyway, we're also joined live from the West Stand, just outside the chairman's entrance, by none other than Raggy. Good evening, Rags.
Yeah, obviously I've made an appearance in person last week. That was only to say, gracias, Marcelo. I'm back to online now. So yeah, doing it from the ground.
But we make no amend. We make no amend for the time being. And sadly, some sad news to start with. We are now a podcast of three again. Unfortunately, the terrible thing called work has got the better of Mike. So Mike will be taking a prolonged break from the podcast due to his commitments to work. So we love you, Mike, and thanks for everything. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. But anyway, it's a new time. It's a new era, new chapter. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. So good evening to everybody who's watching live on them. Please share the stream, like it, subscribe, all them other things that we often ask people to do. And if you are on Facebook, don't forget to go over and join the All Leeds Out We Facebook group. So, lads, straight off the back of Jesse Marschs, defense. First game down at the Walker's King Power Filbert Street Stadium in Leicester.
In like Leicester.
Leicester, yeah.
I listened to it, and he actually said Leicester. He didn't go Leicester, which was quite good. Do you know something I quite like already? That is quite self-deprecating, as in he's mentioned Ted Lasso. He's mentioned the fact that American.
He did have a joke about his accent today, didn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of like that. It's kind of like address the elephant in the room, because you could have a bit of a big cry about it and start saying, "No, we're all really hard done to us Americans because soccer is not our first sport and all this type of stuff." But yeah, he's just kind of took it, and I kind of like that confidence in him, that he's confident in himself and he'll stick to his guns.
I'm like a proper jump ship from Marcelo Bielsa. I'm proper fanboy.
I'm fanboying a bit.
I'm proper fanboy.
I must admit, in the King Power Walker's Filbert Stadium on Saturday, it was a bit strange when he came out in them like chinos and his jacket were open. It was so animated on the sidelines.
I really like that jacket.
It was a nice jacket.
It is Red Bull linked. It's Red Bull's clothing line, Alpha Tauri.
Oh, is it?
And it's 800 quid, so I won't be buying one of them.
Ah, right.
But it's very nice.
It is a nice cut. But even like me and Judd were sat, sadly, right next to Leicester fans, right down at the front. And even in like the warm-up, it seemed a bit weird watching like Cameron Toshek laying it off and stuff like that. It was just, I don't know, it just felt strange, really strange.
Like a completely new era.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it did. It did, to be fair. But like, what we thought's running into the game, because 4-2-2-2-2. I rang you, didn't I? And I was like, I've heard he's going to play 4-2-2-2-2. And I was like, fucking brave to play 4-2-2-2-2 after 4 days of trying to play 4-2-2-2-2.
Yeah, everyone were going on about it on like Twitter and Facebook and that. And I thought, I'm not even interested how we're going to play it or how we're even going to line up. I just want to see something better defensively. He could have played like I don't know if you've seen Ted Lasso, but there's one
I need to watch it.
There's one of the tactics for one of the, I think it's like a free kick or something, I can't remember what it is, but like they line up like an American football team, and they could have lined up like that as long as we defended okay. I think that was my first thing going into the game.
Rags, did you think that 4-2-2-2-2 might have been a stretch too far in only 4 days. Bearing in mind they've been absolutely drilled to death to, Marcelo's ways of 4-1-4-1, fucking 3-1-3 or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely thought it would be a kind of a step too far to be honest. Like you say, with such a short amount of time, it was weird seeing the team news when it came through. So automatically thinking, right, who's playing in the Phillips position, and then you go, well, no, actually, like because you're just so used to looking down the list of 11 names and going, right, he's going to be there, he's going to be. And all of a sudden, it was slightly refreshing to think, oh, actually, we don't actually, here's 11 players, but we don't actually know how they're going to line up and who's going to play where. But yeah, I didn't think there was going to be any kind of revolutionary tactics in such a short space of time. And that's the problem he's got. Obviously, it's like it did feel like almost like the first game of a season, but it's not. It's such a condensed little mini league that we've got ourselves in a mini season that. It's a lot, so much more riding on that. But
I think,
go on.
Come the end of this week, that's when really we'll have to start making judgment. I think because kind of the first game, I got the feeling I came out of the first game and I was like a bit disappointed we'd got beat because I didn't feel like we deserved to get beat at all. I thought we were good for at least a point. But I kind of come away and thought, he's introduced a new system. We looked a bit more defensively sure than we had done before. We defended set pieces reasonably well. We looked threatening from our own set pieces, and we created chances. I thought I couldn't really ask for much more from someone who's had 4 days.
Not to I don't want to sound like I'm slagging Bielsa off because like we said last week, it was the most amazing 3.5 years. It looked more of a complete football team rather than just an attacking force.
Yeah.
And that sounds really bad, but I
think that is quite harsh. I think that is quite harsh. I think we're kind of getting bogged down on the last few results. We have definitely been a complete football team under Bielsa.
Yeah.
Defensively as well as attacking. It was a writer, I think it was in the Times, someone put it on Twitter. And he did say, I can't remember the exact words he said, but it almost felt like, a lot of the beauty and the kind of soul had gone. And I kind of agree with that. Just from a conceptual point of view, there'll be a lot of revisionism about Bielsa. There's not, we're here to talk about Leeds going forward, so we don't want to get bogged down in it. But there was a lot of really good, and encouraging things from that game in such a short time, because we've just said, he's not had long to do it. And, a lot of comments in the lead up to this, players were broken under the old system and everything like that. They didn't look like that. So obviously that's very reassuring. I won't repeat some of the things I put on the group for Saturday afternoon because I have a time to sober up myself and reflect on a little bit. Because no, don't get me wrong, I went in on it on the 8% DIPAs as well on the Saturday afternoon, so that didn't help. But I think overall, like you say, there were a lot of positive things, and I don't think we deserve to lose the game. The problem is we lost the game. That's the main thing. Yeah. It's, at the end of the day, there's no prize for, you've been relegated, but you didn't deserve to, so you get to stay up. It's it's as simple as that. Well, and that's the real disappointing thing. I get it that we need that that it's really encouraging that a lot of the things that we were worried about seem to have sorted themselves out. However, I will also big pinch of salt with the fact that that was a poor Leicester side. I don't think they were particularly good as well. We've been ripped apart by very good sides, and then we've played not a brilliant. We're having a really tough season in not great form, and they didn't offer much really. So you can look solid defensively when it's a poor team who don't really attack very much.
Yeah, it could do, mate. Yeah, I mean, I think tomorrow night we'll get on to Villa in a little bit. That'll be probably a sterner test because they're off the back of battering Southampton 4-0. Coutinho seems to be purring. They seem to be in a good bit of form, but I think that'll probably be. But to go back to Leicester, we've got to give some sort of props, if you like. Big shout out to Luke Allroyd, who's in the comments waving. I did see it at the game, mate, on Saturday, but I didn't be one of the people who were stood at stand shouting, Luke, like a really shit Alan Partridge sketch. So I just didn't bother. But yeah, I mean, let's have a little look at the pressing. A lot was said about Jesse's Jesse's style of pressing compared to Marcelo, where it's very much pressing the ball and not the man.
Yeah, I noticed it really early on. I think it was Harrison and maybe James or maybe Rafinha or I can't remember. But Harrison was one. It might have been Rodrigo actually. And the Leicester player did something, and both of them just darted.
Yeah, it were.
And I thought
the kid Thomas on left hand side. He took an heavy touch. It were in front of us, and they literally jumped all over him. And forced him just to volley it out. I think what was obvious to me was that we retreated back to. We had a low block. I think probably retreated back to a point where we let that guy who was the baddie in Shrek, Sionchu.
Yeah,
it looks like him, doesn't it?
Just a bit taller, maybe.
A bit taller. Yeah. We let him and who was the other centre half playing? Sionchu and the other guy.
I can't think of who.
Can't remember. No. Rags help us out. Sionchu and who was the other centre half? It weren't Bednarek. We're not.
Oh, African lad. Which don't really help, does it?
No, not really.
A few there, and Didi and that. But what's he called?
Him has just signed that new deal.
Somebody will let us know. No, Fofana had a broken leg. He's had a broken leg, hasn't he? Fofana. Yeah, got done in pre-season. Ben's looking it up now, making terrible podcasts.
Yeah,
we should have spent less time working today, more time prepping.
Amati.
Big shout out, Jonathan Brooks. After that, yeah, sorry. And we let them have it as a back four. But what I think, and shout out Lucas from Hooked on Leeds, he picked up on this on his little sort of stat breakdown.
Which, if you go on our YouTube, you can go watch.
Yeah, and you should do because it's good. When it went to the full backs, that's when we appeared to trigger the press, where we then got aggressive and really aggressively pressed. And it worked a few times. We forced them to go long. The thing we're forcing Leicester to go long is they've always got
Jamie
Vardy on the thing, and there were a couple of times where I did a little bit of a shit, but we managed to recover it quite well. But yeah, I thought I was quite impressed.
We also pressed very well and made them go long, which they hoofed straight out of play as well a number of times. Yeah. So at that point, it worked really well at times. I thought it did seem like you say it was a press that got results without being kind of that full balls to the wall thing that if it beat the press, you go, shit, we're really exposed. Like we have been done recently. So
and I guess, in a way, they're the differences we kind of needed to see what, like, as a team, them pressing like we did, I won't say under Bielsa, but previously, that cost us in
other aspects.
Yeah. But if you're pressing and you've got that backup as well in the defence because of how you press, it's safer, isn't it?
I think the other thing that stuck out to me was, and I'd heard him talk about it on one of the many podcast stat things he'd done before, was that he encourages people when they get it to drive towards the penalty area.
Yeah.
And so Dan James, Harrison, and another do exactly that, broke it down on the transition and drove towards the penalty area, not wide, straight at the penalty area, which
a lot of people were talking about 4-2-2-2-2-2-2-2.
Yeah.
But it ended up being at times like a 4-2-4.
Yeah. And I was talking to a guy at my lad's training the other day about that. And if you think about it, as a back four, if you receive the ball and you turn out and you've got four men in front of you waiting to press, that it forces teams to go long because they don't feel like they can play through that. And then you've got click and cock, which could have so good gone as click and collect. If we'd have got a victory. I had that lined up for ages, but anyway, it didn't work.
I mean, I would say I've got a bit of sound clicking a bit.
You know what I mean? It's a bit of a shield. I thought it was. I'm quite impressed with the structure and the shape of the team. I thought it looked all right.
I guess I thought Click, and I've never thought Click could do that kind of role. I've always thought of him as a attacking midfielder, zooming into corners, and he has done it a few times under Bielsa and had like really bad shockers, like Everton and a few others. But he just seemed so disciplined in what he did and everything, and they both worked well together, him and Koch. And I
think that's the thing, though, isn't it? When there's two of them, there's not as much pressure on one of them to do that shuttling across and breaking up play, and that two of them can work it between them. And with Cock, you've naturally got a defensive-minded player in there as well who knows when to sort of sit and break it up, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting. Like one of my mates said today, like how Calvin sort of fits back in this when he's fit. Like it'd be more of a England Calvin than the Calvin we've kind of seen in Leeds colours.
Which will be it will be interesting how that works and who plays outside of him as well. That's another interesting one.
Yeah. I mean, that for me, Calvin and Forshaw, that'd be brilliant for me.
I think Calvin and Cock based on
in the double pivot,
because Calvin is happy to receive the ball when he's back to play. Where I always don't feel like Cock is so comfortable to do that. No. But Cock, defensively can screen and has done it for Germany, so proof there that he can do that.
Sorry, just to interrupt. That's Ben saying low block and double pivot.
I know, mate. I'm seriously considering fucking that right now.
I'm throwing them all in.
We just need false 9 to come in, and we've got the Holy Trinity.
Not getting mentioned. Right, we were a bit guilty though on Saturday of being sloppy with chances again. And we did meet.
Do you not?
We did meet a Kasper Schmeichel who was
brilliant. To be fair,
yeah. As much as he got some absolute hammer by Leeds fans.
I think if we get one, we've probably gone.
Your dad's up, and so are you.
Yeah, I think if we get one, we'd probably gone on to got 2 or 3. Yeah. I think it's a confidence thing that once we get one, that'll be it. Then that's the last sort of weight to be lifted in it.
You tell me, I've not watched the game back, but I felt like Leicester had a 10-minute spell where we kind of got a bit raggedy, and they scored in that 10-minute spell. But other than that,
No, that was the only decent chance they have.
I was going to say, second half, I thought it was all us, up until the goal, and then they just hit that. That was such a sucker punch because I thought it was relatively even first half. Second half, we came out and we looked really good. We were creating a lot of chances.
Yeah,
just couldn't put one away, and then just get, like you say, just really knocked the wind out of ourselves, that goal, and then at that point.
It's going to do it.
It is.
Been through in the last a couple of months and more so the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was the weight lifted off the defensive performance.
Yeah.
And then a goal would have made such a bigger difference.
I get the feeling with this team, and I did have it prior to the managerial change, that we just need a bit of a run of luck, just in off someone's ass, or just something to turn the tide a little bit.
And then again, you can go on to look for like some of the things that happened in the game. Then I think we probably should have had a penalty.
Well, I text you tonight at half time because from where I was stood, which was in line with it, the ball came and went really quickly. I didn't really pay much attention, and Rodrigo rolling around up floor a fair bit, and I couldn't get a signal. So then obviously text you guys, and then obviously
two
you said
penalties
that,
actually.
What was the second one?
Just on the Rodrigo one.
I don't know about the handball. I have seen that one back. I think that would have been a bit harsh.
There is one thing that I'll go on to. Go on, Raggy.
Go, yeah. Just on that penalty, like for me, they shouldn't be given as penalties.
No.
Yeah,
I agree.
In my opinion, from a footballing perspective. However, we have conceded penalties by VAR for much less this season. Therefore, that should have been a penalty.
Well, I mean, funny, I watched Salzburg Bayern last night just to do a bit of Brendan Aronson watching, which I didn't get to watch much because they absolutely dicked them. But the second penalty is quite similar, where Warber comes up to Lewandowski, catches the back of his leg, and obviously Lewandowski goes flying around, diving up floor. But VAR interjects and gives it as a penalty. And when I watched it back with Rodrigo, there's less of a contact on Rodrigo. But if we're doing it with Rudiger and Chelsea and Click,
if that Rudiger one is a penalty, ours was Stonewaller because
I don't like
that Rodrigo one was way worse than the Rudiger one.
Yeah. I like them kind of things. I mean, Rodrigo sort of controlled the ball. I don't want to say he had possession of it, but he's controlled the ball and then he's been sort of kicked after that. So I don't know what the argument is there that it shouldn't. I mean, as much as we're saying them things kind of can just happen and they shouldn't really be a penalty. But it's the same like you've seen a defender's going to clear the ball, but the attacker gets in front of him and gets a penalty. That for me, I don't think you should be giving them as penalties because it's an unfortunate thing.
Well,
I think the Rodrigo sort of controlled the ball, and the players literally lashing out to try and kick the ball, but he's clumsy and kicks him.
Yeah. It's penalty.
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen before, but I do agree with what Rag said that in the grand scheme of football, none of them should be penalties, but they are penalties.
No, but the minute you start awarding one, especially via VAR, you've got to do it.
Absolutely,
right. That's the problem. You've got to. It's just the consistency is laughable. Absolutely laughable.
I think seriously this year. I mean, I have always banged this drum, but I think seriously this year the standard of officiating throughout the game is absolutely woeful.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, David Coote on Saturday, penalties aside, he was bad. He was so indifferent. Where it's a foul in one, it's a bucket. Like Forshaw gets booked within 30 seconds of coming on for the same challenge that Leicester made 3 or 4, and he didn't book them. And you just think, just don't make any sense. And that's not an excuse, by the way. Coote didn't make us lose the game.
And it seems like the top teams do this a lot, where they sort of get themselves in front of the ball when they're not going anywhere, and they just fall over.
Mane is an absolute master at it. He did it last night against Inter. Knocked the ball away, realizes he ain't getting it, takes a little bit of contact, goes down. Luckily, last night, the ref, who was an absolute psychopath himself, didn't give anything, but he's a master at it. The penalty he got at Anfield, for me, he's overrun the ball. He just goes down and gets the penalty.
And the difference is, you see that you've got 2 different competitions there, and we saw it, we praised the refs in the Euros and what have you. You've got these 2 different competitions where refs aren't at these teams week in, week out, and they can't get, and I believe this is the issue, that they get in their ears and they get mates with them, and the influence, and they're scared to give things against the top team. I mean, that referee that came out and apologized to Frank Lampard.
Yeah,
what the fuck is that about?
They need to. I've said it earlier in the season, and I'll say it again. The refereeing needs change, and it needs an independent, non-referee at the head of it who's going to take people to account for poor performances. It doesn't need David Ellery, whoever's at top at PGMLO or whatever it's called, who is a ref, who's going to defend refs. And it just perpetuates a cycle of refs making bad decisions, being protected by more refs.
But I don't agree for punishment to referees, because what if you've got a pool of referees? If you were punishing referees, then we wouldn't have any referees left.
Well, it's obvious that the standard of training towards referees is poor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they consistently, across the board, get it wrong.
Yeah. Speaking of getting it wrong, we talked about the penalties. The second penalty, which was a handball.
Does it even touch his hand?
It was very hard to see from the cameras.
Yeah.
But the telling thing is he gives a corner.
So he's acknowledging it hits something, isn't he? Because he gives a corner. But I don't know.
But if it's hitting anything, it's hitting hand.
Yeah. Well, but I think what's that plant pot called? Peter Walton. Didn't he turn around on one of them? What's that other guy who does Sky, the referee?
No, it was Gallagher.
Didn't he turn around and say that it wasn't given because they couldn't be sure it hit his hand? I think that's what they said. But I don't know. I'm done second guessing referees now. It's that poor. I really am genuinely done. At top, grassroots, all the way through. Refs, it's so poor. It's a tough job. I'm not for 1 minute saying that it's not a tough job, but there's just no consistency.
No.
There's no consistency at any level of. It just don't make any sense. It just really don't. But anyway, let's move on from refs. I will be here all day.
And that all goes with the look of where we're at right now, doesn't it? That any other time we might have got 2 penalties there, and then we score one of them, and we're flying because we need that confidence. We probably go on and score a couple more, and we get a win. Takes us out of where. And
if we'd have gone in there at half time 1-0 up, and especially given our second half performance, who knows what we could have come out. It's
true, mate,
does Rafinha bury that chance? If we 1-0 up, he should. He should
score. I know everybody's worldly save from him. He's on the line. He's on the line. Got to score there, I think.
Yeah.
We'll get a few comments and we'll start looking forward to the Villa game tomorrow in the evening at Ellen Road. Martin Ackroyd says, evening, lads. Ben Tillotson says, evening, lads. Jay Patel, good evening, guys. Lee W on YouTube says, good evening, soccer fans.
Yeah.
Like that. There'll be a lot of American references until we get.
I've been watching Ted Lasso. It inspired me to watch it.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
Even our lass hates football and she's watching it.
All right. So I originally got up on Sunday morning and thought, I'm going to watch Ted Lasso, but I fell into Phoenix Nights. Phoenix Nights hole. And then our judge came down and started laughing at Phoenix Nights. So I thought, Anyway, Simon Reese says, evening. Rick Kerr says, evening, lads. Good to see you back to some sort of the original podcast before COVID. Good to see you.
Yeah.
This was the lineup before
COVID's
COVID.
dead.
COVID's
Gone.
not there anymore.
See you later.
Overtaken by Russia. Johnny Brown says, good to hear about Mike go. Great lad.
I think I'd rather have
but the
COVID
Fab
than
Three
Russia.
will go on. Rick Kerr says, hopefully 6 points. Ben Tillotson, I like the man. He could be good for this team in relation to our friend Jesse Marschs. I've already mentioned Luke Allroyd. Get a few more comments in. Ian Brown, hello from Australia, lads.
Nice.
Loving the show. By fans, for fans. Absolutely.
What time is it in
I'm
Australia?
going to say, what time is it in Australia? Is it
like
in the morning?
Yeah.
It's got to be early morning.
Yeah.
Fair play. Get to listen to us in the morning. Ben Tillotson agrees and says to us that the refs have been appalling this year. And the rest of the division going make a stand on the way the tops 4 to 6 are treated compared to the rest. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Before we move on, how was the after-match huddle in the stadium?
Right, I wanted to come on to that after this, but I can't.
Read your mind.
I'm not getting as out my pants about it. He's talked about it today in the presser, how he said that basically after the game, players get took away to do media, some have to go give a piss test, blah, 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 blah. So he doesn't get all the group together. So he chose to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's such a big deal, but you get people like fucking mouth breathers like Gabby Agbonlahor going on about it. And Rags, I always come back whenever I see something like this to the point that Neil Kilkenny said to me and you when we interviewed him, that there still is a real thing in the British game about it's the British game and this is how things should be done and you shouldn't do it like that and blah, 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 blah. And I just think that let the man do what he fucking wants. He wants to have a huddle on pitch. Fair enough. I don't care, to be honest.
I've got nothing against it. And you know what? I couldn't give two fucks what Gabby Agbonlahor thinks about anything. To be honest. And if everyone came out, you know, at the end of the day, I don't care. Like if it works for Leeds, then let's do it. It's not that long ago that people were giving Rodrigo pelleters for straight away at the final whistle, walking down the tunnel. You know, the damnedest to do, the damnedest to don't. For me, with what we've got ahead of us and this 11-game stretch, we need unity. We need unity of the fans. We need unity of the team and the players. And it was a hard one to take to not come out of that game with a point or anything like that. So I think it's good. I think it shows initiative, and you know, and the thing is with Marsch, a bit like Bielsa, he doesn't really care what anyone else thinks. This is the way I'm going to do it. You might sneer and laugh because I'm an American. Okay, I'll take that on the chin. But I'm going to do this. I think it's going to get the results, and we'll see, won't we? And I quite like that.
Ultimately, mate, if he was to, and I'm not saying this will happen, but say we was to go on and win 12 games left, say we was going to win 8 of the next 12 games, they would be talking up the fucking huddle after that. If we did that every game after, they would be talking about
the minus 15 season. There was the huddle,
there were.
And then and they did, and then they all came to the fans and clapped and what have you. And I think, in a way, maybe subconsciously, and maybe they don't work in the Premier League. I always used to like when Leeds Rhinos at half time, they'd let the other team sort of kind of walk off, but then they'd all get together and sort of jog in together.
And run in together.
Like that. And it might be nothing in the terms of, but maybe in the Premier League or whatever. But if a team's doing that and you think, oh, well, they're for each other and they're doing that, and maybe little things like that. And
psychology is massive, isn't it? Psychology is massive.
And that's the whole thing of the last week or so. The psychology is massive because these players were kind of broken with what they couldn't do what Bielsa wanted them to do anymore. I think that was obvious. So Jesse Marschs has come in and it's a different kind of style. He's more like around them and a bit more arms around.
Touchy-feely, innit? Yeah. Not in a perverted way. A bit more of a man manager.
Yeah.
Whereas Marcelo weren't a man manager by his own admittance.
As weird as it is a comparison. Watching Ted Lasso and what
we need to stop bringing this up.
And granted that's like a comedy sort of thing in a TV program, but you see the sort of things in that and you think, well, yeah, that's what the Leeds players like. I guess the story behind it all. That's what the Leeds players need. They need that sort of boost and doing like they went out for Rodrigo's birthday, I think, or something like that. Just little stuff like that makes you feel together. And whereas before it would just sort of maybe turn up to training, work hard, and that's when the working hard becomes a bit of an issue. When you're working hard and you're not getting the results, and then you start thinking, what am I doing here? But if you're all teammates and it's like, come on, mate, then one can say to other, and you're all in it together, and you have that feeling of being in it together, then that's how you get out of situations like this.
Absolutely.
Because they are good enough players, because they've shown that. They finished 9th last year. So they are quality enough to do that. But they need now to be together, to have a decent plan in stopping goals going in and goals scoring, as simple as that sounds.
Yeah.
But the only way they do that now
Stick together.
is sticking
And
together.
nobody's coming in now. There's nobody getting parachuted in to bail you out. We're not having another Pablo moment in the season we got promoted where he come in and bails out a few times. But I think the -15 season is a good example where you brought it up, where sticking together got us where we needed to get to. We were absolutely fucking potless. We had a load of players who took a risk. I mean, we had Andy Hughes on the show, and he basically took an enormous pay cut. Drove up that morning, got given last year's training kit with some black tape over the fucking sponsorship because the sponsorship had run out. And he openly says that they got where they got because of the togetherness and sticking together and all that type of stuff. So the proof's in the pudding that it works. And do you know what? I don't care if he has a huddle at half time, as long as we stay in this division. I really don't care what he chooses to do. People will sneer and poke fun because he's American. If Ranić could have done that at Man United and got a result, they'd call him a visionary. Yeah. It's just bollocks. It's just the rhetoric as per usual for me. Quick question here from Sedani de la Montains. I know that is really. But he says, right, lads, at this moment, do we stay up? I think it's really difficult to say yay or nay, but I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and say, I still think we'll stay up.
Yeah.
I really, really do still think we'll stay up. I think it'll be scary, but I think we'll stay
the performance on Saturday, as much as we didn't get the result, I do feel a bit more comfortable now. Maybe not comfortable, because comfortable would suggest that we'd walk it, but I feel that we're in the right direction to do something more about it. Whereas after Tottenham, and Tottenham are a good side, I thought, but looking back, as we said last week and the weeks before, looking back at the goals we were conceding and how we were conceding them, I was thinking we are in trouble.
Bang in trouble.
Because you can see it. But now there's a little bit more, I guess, hope in a way. I'd like to say, hope. Hope's probably the best word.
Rags, what's your feeling on it? Because I know you,
Well,
change. So
I was out. Yeah, absolutely. I was very much against change. I was very much of the opinion that Bielsa would have kept us up. Obviously, that can't be proved either way now. Yeah. I was very much thinking that this was a bigger risk. Obviously, if anything, you go, well, we've had one game less and we've lost it. So you'd think that but there was encouraging things there. So looking at the run-in, the next, those games, the Norwich, Watford, Brentford games, and we don't really want to be leaving it to the Brentford game. No. They're the humongous games.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night's game's massive. For me, I have to get something out of that game. We have to get at least a point.
Yeah, I'm on board.
We really do. Still fearful, way more fearful than if Bielsa would have stayed personally. But there's encouragement there, and like I say, it's still within our hands. So it's our destiny is in our hands. And right now, we're showing some really encouraging things. So there are, as I think Johnny Brown in the comments says, there's three far worse teams than us. I agree with that. I've always said that this season. I think there's a lot of worse teams than us.
And I think Everton, including that now.
The problem we've got is just what you've mentioned there. That run of luck is just not as completely deserved as, and we need a little bit of that as well, because there's been some sides that probably didn't deserve to go down over the years and have gone down. So we can't kind of rely on that. But everything is looking. I'm way more confident today than I was when we were recording last week. Way more confident.
I'd agree with that.
Despite what I messaged you on Saturday afternoon.
I can't admit that you may have had a drink. I'll be honest. I just went, okay. Let's leave it at that.
On that, like, if we'd have had Bielsa and lost anyway, would that have changed a lot? Like, if we'd have stuck with Bielsa, maybe if we were sticking with him indefinitely till the end of the season, would a loss of Leicester changed anything? Or would like if you're looking at games we should win or need to win to stay up?
No.
Was Leicester one of them?
No. Leicester, you look at it and you think might get something, but probably won't.
Objective
one for me.
maybe objectively you're right there, but also looking at it is that was an opportunity. That I know they've won the game before and they beat Burnley, but was it Burnley? Yeah, they beat Burnley.
Yeah, midweek.
It was but that was their first league win this calendar year. They've not been good and they've been so patchy, and it is one that you would look at the list. When you've got Arsenal, Chelsea, City still to play. You've got to target that as one that
should have got something from.
Maybe we should go get a point there. So I know what you mean. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're saying. It's they're a top half team just. So out the other ones, but yeah, I think it was an opportunity. Whether that's Marschs going there or Bielsa, it was an opportunity.
Yeah.
So let's have a little look then towards tomorrow evening against Aston Villa at Ellen Road. Jesse Marschs' first experience of Ellen Road. What do you think the atmosphere will be like? I think it'll be very welcoming to Jesse. I mean,
this is another question. The Marcelo Bielsa chance in the game.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I love Bielsa, I don't agree with that. And I know as much as fans want to say thank you and stuff like that.
So to my memory,
I just think in a game isn't the way to do that. I mean,
to my memory, there was one before the game kicked off,
which I'm fine with. Before,
and then maybe one in the game, but I don't remember it being excessively sung. I'll be honest. Some lads around me were trying to get Jesse Marschs' Barmy Army on go, but it weren't being well received that much. My favourite one was where Leeds United, we don't need a drum. To the Leicester fans, I particularly enjoyed that one. To be honest,
they love a drum at Midlands.
Fucking weird, mate. We'll talk about them later on, anyway. But
just on that, Gary, not on the drum, but just on the whole kind of going to, because I went to the pub to watch it on Saturday, and I felt weird. It felt weird going to watch Leeds United, even if it was just to the pub, not being coached by Marcelo Bielsa. It felt odd. What did it feel like going to the game? Because I would have hated that if that was a home game, with the emotion and everything like that. I was glad it was an away game just to kind of break us in. But you went, so
yeah, it was.
What did it feel like?
It was a strange atmosphere. There was, if you've been to Leicester, the away end's quite tight.
In the corner.
Yeah, in the corner. Yeah. So like even at your urinal before game, it's a bit of a lottery if you grab your own pecker because it's that tight in there.
Nice.
But anyway.
Is that why you went?
That's why I went. No, there were lots.
There
were lots of Marcelo Bielsa chants in the concourse before,
which is fine.
But then before there was a kid stood behind me holding up an Argentinian flag, and I saw one sort of Bielsa banner, but it didn't feel to me in the way like it was some massive sort of outpouring of grief towards Marcelo. But it did have a strange feeling, like I said before, seeing Cameron Toshak and the other coaches warming the lads up, and it was slightly different to what Marcelo used to have, or his staff used to have the players doing. And then sort of Jesse Marschs on the sideline, probably totally opposite to Marcelo, literally talking the lads through the game at one point, and quite animated and gesticulating and stuff like that. But what I did find interesting with Marschs, and probably didn't get picked up on telly a couple of times, throughout the game he kept nipping into sort of the subs, and he'd grab Joffrey or he'd grab some of the other lads, and he'd point things out on the pitch, and he was obviously talking them through where they'd fit into the structure or what he'd expect them to do, kind of thing. And I found that quite interesting and sort of forward thinking a little bit. But it was a typical Leeds atmosphere, to be honest. It just did feel strange, but not strange, different strange. It just felt different.
I'm expecting it to feel a bit strange on. I think. If we'd have been awful like on Saturday,
it might have been different.
Yeah, I think that would have been really bad. But I think like we've discussed that there's something to look forward to on that sort of thing. So maybe it'll be that and a bit of a. It's the first game at Ellen Road since Bielsa, so there's going to be some kind of
there'll be a lot of Bielsa chants, I would imagine tomorrow.
But I think I'd maybe take like one sort of part of singing Bielsa, and then we need to get on the team, because I think it's not good for the team either, because they're partly, like I think we said this last week, they're partly to blame for the situation of Bielsa.
Potentially,
And I think just putting too much of that onto that.
I think there's a fine line between acknowledging the great things he did for us in a football arena that we haven't been back into since he was there, but then overstepping the mark to the point where we sound like desperate exes.
Yeah,
as opposed to anything else. And I don't think we'll do that, to be honest. I think there will be a big rendition of Marcelo Bielsa probably before the game.
Yeah.
But I think after that, I think we'll just get behind the team like we normally do. And I expect probably a rendition of Jesse Marschs' Barmy Army might actually make it out this week as opposed to them. But I don't know. I'm quite excited, to be honest. I'm quite excited. I think that I'm excited because I like listening to what he has. And I've got Bielsa to credit for this. I've become quite a little bit obsessive with how teams set up and tactics. Although I'm still kind of learning a little bit. Like I'm kind of interested to see how they'll combat Coutinho tomorrow, because he says we've got a plan for what we're going to do with him. Now that could come back to bite him in the arse big time. But I'm quite interested to see what he does with that. I'm quite interested to see how he gets the front two to give Konsa and Mings, if Konsa plays, a bit of a heavy going, because them two can be got at. We can make their life a misery, as we proved down at Villa Park. Dan James scared the life out of Mings at every opportunity, and I'm excited to see that. I found myself on Saturday, in between chanting and cheering, stood there a lot of times with my hands folded, just watching players and watching how they press and watching where they go. And
that's something we discussed before. Like I said to my dad, do you feel calmer watching this?
It did feel less kamikaze at times, I'll be honest. But again, I don't know. I'm excited for tomorrow. I mean, what can we expect from Villa? They're off the back of beating Ralph Hasenhüttl's Southampton 4-0, another product of the RB sort of sporting group. The Red Bull sporting group is Hasenhüttl. But from what I read after, I mean, I was listening to TalkSport driving back up from Leicester, but from what I heard after that, Southampton were particularly woeful. And I think Villa had
Do you think Southampton have kind of got to that stage where they're not really playing for out now?
No,
so
they do it every year, really. They peak and trough a little bit, don't they? But I mean, I went down to Villa as well, and it was head in hands moment at half time when we were 3-1 down. But then we proved that we can fight back into a game, and they're still fighting the old dog yet. And I feel like tomorrow, if we have a good start, and I know it's a big if, and we score early, I'd just like to see what mindset Villa come into, because Gerrard won't have a great deal of stats and stuff apart from one Leicester game and analyse it. And Jesse Marschs, from what I've read, doesn't subscribe to one. I know they talk about 4-2-2-2, but he mentioned they use something like 19 formations in one of his seasons at Salzburg. So he's an adaptable manager. So I'm interested to see how Villa come and try and.
He seemed pretty confident today that how Villa would play with like a diamond. With
he said a diamond with Coutinho at the top of it. Who plays at the bottom of that diamond?
Douglas Luiz.
Maybe. So then, just let me run this through my head. So Watkins and Ings as a front two.
Yeah.
Coutinho at top at diamond. Then is it Buendia and the kid Ramsey, and then
Ramsey, and if they're playing two up front with no winger, they go Ramsey and McGinn.
And
it was. If I'm just looking at their lineup against Southampton,
okay,
the midfield was Luiz, McGinn, Coutinho, and Ramsey.
It's an odd diamond to say the least.
Yeah, it's quite central, isn't it?
It's like a double pivot to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have to.
Maybe it was 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'd like to see him go 4-2-2-2 matches up and see what happens. That'd be interesting. So I mean, I fall into this trap every week. I mean, if we go back through your predictor rags when we've managed to do it, I always back Leeds to win. And even under Jesse Marschs, I still feel like if this team clicks and we take his chances, we can beat anybody on his day. And I did believe that under Bielsa as well, for what that's worth. We're in kind of the unknown, aren't we? Really, we've had one game with him, and we're a bit in the unknown, which is both exciting and utterly terrifying.
Just looking back at Villa's sort of last results, they beat Southampton and Brighton.
Brighton had a great time recently, though.
No, but they're kind of just mid-table, nothing, aren't they? But they lost to Newcastle and Watford, who were down there fighting. And is it just a bit of that? I don't know.
And got ranked close.
I've not seen it enough, but yeah.
So
it was before that. Is that just a bit of the teams were a bit easy on them because they're not out to play for, but those that are fighting, they're not really bothered.
Possibly, mate, yeah. And I mean, ultimately, we'll know. I did that thing again at Leicester. I looked at clock at 20 minutes and thought, we're not losing. I can take this.
I did that.
We've got through the
quarters. That first game, playing 5 minutes. But I also got to 25 minutes and I thought, how the fuck's it not half time yet?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. That first half, it felt like an hour.
Yeah.
That first, it was. I don't know what was happening. It was just felt like the longest half of football of all time.
Oh, I didn't really feel like it. I don't know. Weird.
I
Ben
was
Tillotson
watching it.
has got a request. Raggy, can you stop dipping into the quantum universe? It's giving him a headache. It's that magical Pepsi
Exactly.
Max, other
It does,
Coke
yeah. Sometimes
drinks are available. That slipping into back there. Anyway, so yeah, Villa tomorrow night. We'll get some Raggy's predictor things in a bit. But an even bigger game, if tomorrow's not a big enough game already, is Dean Smith comes to town on Sunday, 2:00 kickoff, with his Norwich side. I'm sure they'll pitch it as a basement battle on Gillette Super Sunday or whatever they call it nowadays. Super Sunday, that thing. That's the game. Well, we need positive results from both, but that's the game we've got to be winning. Norwich
have Chelsea tomorrow night.
Good. Run ragged to death.
Yeah.
A couple of injuries would be good as well.
Few red cards.
Yeah, a couple of injuries.
But without even going into the team, we need to win.
Yeah, listen,
it has to be a win.
If they're playing Brian Gunn and Dean Ashton, it doesn't really matter. We need to win. Yeah. And if we're staying up, which I think we will, we need to win. Darren Eady, Darren Huckabee.
Yeah.
Norwich. Who else plays for him? Did John Hartson play for Norwich?
I don't know.
Chris Sutton did.
Chris Sutton. That's it,
yeah. Because we haven't had the call yet from
606 have blocked us now since we refused to do the scum game, haven't we?
Yeah.
Otherwise now. So yeah, that's the big one. That's the one I will be nervous for, depending on what tomorrow night's result is, by the way, as well. If we get a positive result tomorrow night going into that Norwich game, I'll be both confident but also shitting myself in respect.
Yeah, regardless of the result tomorrow night, minimum, I think we need a draw.
Yeah, we need 4 points.
We need to beat
2 games,
Norwich.
Preferably 6.
Yeah,
preferably.
Norwich beating Norwich. It's the old 6-pointer thing, isn't it? That they're on 17, we're on 23. So if we get to 26 and they've not picked up any points, which they shouldn't do against Chelsea.
I mean, how did you feel about Brentford murdering Norwich? Did they murder Norwich at weekend?
Yes, 3-1.
Like, I kind of wanted a draw from that just to keep Brentford in the mix of getting dragged into it as well. The more teams are getting dragged into it, the more opportunity we've got of wriggling out of it. Simple math.
I thought with the luck that we were having, both teams were going to win that.
Yeah.
First time ever in Premier League history.
Exactly. Two teams win a game, yeah.
Yeah. But just before we get some Raggy's predictor for them 2 games, Everton. So obviously Frank's gone there.
I didn't say anything about Everton.
No, but I think if you look at it in fact rather than our emotional feelings, Frank's gone there. They beat us 3-0. Then they've been utterly dreadful since then. There's now talk of a points deduction. Their Russian funder has now been removed from it.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, I was driving back from football Monday night, and if they were to get relegated, and I'm not saying they will, because I do think that they've got enough quality in there to get them out if Frank can get a tune out of them.
I was watching the Spurs game.
Could do a Leeds then.
And I was trying to compare what we were like against Spurs and what they were like against Spurs.
Equally as bad.
And no. We looked a lot better against Spurs than what they did, and we were really bad.
The thing is,
we made chances against Spurs. They didn't do anything.
Liam G makes the point that Everton's running is horrific. And,
yeah,
I'll just get it up here. It is. I had a quick look, and then I did that thing of looking at our running and instantly shit myself, so I stopped looking. I was like, oh shit, don't do that again. But their games to continue are Burnley, Everton, Everton, Leicester, Watford, Everton, Palace, Everton, Wolves, Everton, Newcastle, Everton, Palace, Everton again, West Ham, Everton, Scum, Everton, Liverpool, Everton, Chelsea, Everton, Leicester, Brentford, Arsenal. They're their games. They're horrendous.
That Brentford game could be a big, big game.
Mate, I'm not being funny, but if you look at them 3 games there, on 9th of April, they've got Scum at Goodison. On 23rd of April, they've got Liverpool at Goodison. And on 30th of April, they've got Chelsea at Goodison. If they don't get anything out of them previous few games,
they've got Palace in between.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, them 3 games are brutal. Anyway, regardless of Everton, let's get some Raggy's predictors.
We can't. We can look at Everton and say, yeah, they've got a bad running, but if we don't get the points,
I'm not looking at our run. It scares me. Put Raggy's predictor do for them. It'll be lovely.
Raggy's predictor.
No points were amassed against Leicester.
Surprise.
we were still too. Even me, who went for a draw, still too optimistic.
Your Honour, can I make a suggestion? Because obviously Mike's now departed this place. Can I have his points?
No.
Okay.
No, you can't have his points. So that leaves you on 8, Gary. Ben on 10.
No, I'm as bad as Norwich.
I'm still in the lead on 15.
10. I can catch you up here.
So, well, if you've got, it might be a chance for you, mate, because it's a double week. So
yeah, Johnny Brown's gone already. Gone early. 2-1 tomorrow. 4-1 on Sunday. I would take that.
I might go with that.
I don't think we're going to lose that badly. Right, we'll start with Villa tomorrow night.
I'll lose that badly.
Right, I'm leading, so I'll go first.
Sure.
Yeah, well, so you don't have to then follow what I'm doing. I'm saying we win 2-0. That's bold, isn't it? That's bold.
A lot of predictions coming in, which we'll get right at the end.
I'm going to go with
bold.
I reckon.
Ben, what you say?
2-1 tomorrow night to Leeds.
2-1. Harry,
that's the result.
I'm going 2-0 to Leeds tomorrow.
2-0. So you need to
Rodrigo and Jack Harrison.
No bonus points, you know that. Norwich on Sunday. We'll start with you on this one, Gary.
I'd like to say 4-0, but it'll be a tighter game than that because they'll come and try and be dogged under Dean Smith. They'll probably spend a lot of time falling on floor and trying to get set pieces as well.
Cheating, I think that's called.
Yeah, it's called cheating. Isn't it? I'm going to go 2-0 again. Leeds 2-0, but a bit of a scrappy, dreadful affair. I feel like Sunday will be.
I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0. I hope it is. I hope all of them are right.
3-0, 29 points.
I hope all of them are right in that order.
Happy days.
I'm saying 3-1. We go behind.
I want a clean sheet.
Yeah, I do. I think I've said it for the last few weeks, though. Yeah. A few predictions coming in. Bremner's Ghost's gone 3-2 tomorrow. 5-1 on Sunday. Now that would be very, very good going into the international break.
David Lofthouse says another 3-3 draw.
3-3 could be. Ben Tillotson says 2-1 Leeds Villa, 3-0 Leeds Norwich. Chicken Balti Pie says beat Villa 3-1 and draw 0-0 with Norwich. That won't surprise
Paul
me.
Crook says 0-0 against Villa. When was the last time we had a 0-0? I can't remember having a 0-0.
Brighton, I went.
Brighton, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awful. And he's gone, yeah. Paul Crook says that confidence it's going to be a 0-0. He said it twice.
Yeah.
0-0. Isham says 1-0
he said
tomorrow,
0-0 Villa first and then 0-0 Leeds Villa.
Okay. 0-0. Yeah. Simon Reeves says 2-1 both games. Smith's team get pens against us. Yeah, there's a chance that could happen also.
Because he fucking
dives,
coaches them to dive. I'm going to be on a flight on Sunday.
Oh shit.
And I think, if I remember my flight times correctly, I might be on the flight for the entire game. Have you had? Can you remember any? And I don't know whether this has happened. I can't remember a time where I've literally landed and checked the football results.
I did.
Have you?
It was the second time I went abroad to Gran Canaria. Leeds played Southampton in the Premier League. Opening game at season. But we'd landed and someone had told us the wrong, like someone's like who we'd met on all the, like when you meet friends and all that, they were on the same flight back and their auntie or some text and saying
dickhead,
wrong score.
Some dickhead.
No. It's the days before the internet, so you're just like
Yeah, like so it was for like 2000, 2001 maybe, something like that. And then I got home and it was when it went from Match of the Day to the Premiership on ITV. That's how long ago it was. And I remember like getting out of the bus or whatever from getting home, and my mates, mum and dad had it on. They were watching it in like over at road, and I could see it in window. I'm like, "What would score?" And then Leeds just came on then, and they won 3-1 or something. Like that. 3-0. Something.
I don't think I've ever done it, Rags. To be honest, I don't think I've ever flown or I was at a wedding in that Ipswich game. You know, the Ipswich game before we got relegated. We played Ipswich at Ellen Road. We
went down to League One.
Yeah, when fans invaded pitch. And it was the same day when fans invaded pitch and Blackpool did as well when the Oystons were in charge. They had a pitch invasion at the same time. But I think that's the last time I missed a game. Not as in didn't listen to it at least, and had to just kind of watch it on telly. Jay Patel says 3-1 in both games, and Johnny Brown says, I did when we lost 3-1 at Forest Monk's season, but I also missed Hull FC winning the Challenge Cup at Wembley for the first time. Yeah.
I'm debating what I do for the Southampton game because I'll be in Miami.
Oh,
everyone knows anywhere.
Miami Whites, hook us up.
Anywhere around the sort of cruise terminal area in Miami.
The Bay Area.
Yeah. That's good to watch a game, so I can just literally run off the ship and
reach out to that Leicester podcast, the official Leeds podcast, because what's his kite lives over there, doesn't he? Matt, Harry Potter's kid.
Harry Potter.
That one, Harry Potter's mate.
Neville Longbottom.
That's one, Neville Longbottom.
Is he in Miami?
No, I think he's in Florida, but I'm sure he'll have links to some other
Florida
American
is massive.
Fans. Is it?
Yeah, I will look.
Florida's like the size of the UK.
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I didn't know that. I've never been to Miami.
I will look.
I thought like Detroit actually.
Oh, we're in Miami for a day, so I thought we'll like.
Welcome to This Is Your Life podcast.
Yeah,
wish you were here. Sorry, not This Is Your Life.
Go to different day, and it's like literally other side of the world to cruise terminals.
I know. Very recently, we've run off on a tangent here, but that's what we do. That's a good podcast, by the way. Gone off on a tangent.
I've started proper listening.
Very, very good. And they
gave us a shout out last week.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I haven't finished catching them yet. Me and my missus were planning a trip to Australia. It was one of them. My missus had this panic that now Judd's 13 yesterday. Shout out, Judd. And my daughter's 10, that she now wants to start making some real memories before they leave home and all this type of stuff. So we weighed up a trip to Australia, 3 weeks in Australia, 2 weeks in Sydney, a week in the Gold Coast. And we're looking at different sort of accommodation. And I went, well, we'll just drive from Sydney to the Gold Coast. She went, I think it's a long way away. I went, no, it's not that far up map.
Yeah.
And then I Googled it, like
3 days.
Fucking about 37 hours to drive. I was like, sack that.
Yeah, one of my mates, I think one of my mates went a few years ago, and he said that him and another lad went and they were driving, like one of them started hallucinating because they'd been driving that long or something and they had to pull over. Like,
before we get into shout outs of the week, just
that long of nothing as well, I think. It's just literally like
there is not
red mud.
There's nothing
a road.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure people will, but in Australia, something like 60% of Australia is not inhabitable. Like, it's just animals and shit that kills you.
Yeah.
I think.
Probably even more, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's probably more than that.
Scary place. Sharks.
Yeah. Imagine driving from Perth to like Sydney.
Lots of sharks. Great white sharks.
Perth seems like the weirdest place in the world. It's like literally on its own.
If you've got a irrational fear,
if you just do a geography podcast.
Yeah, if you've got an irrational fear of great white shark, don't put it in TikTok. No. Fucking horrendous, mate. Honestly, I'm fucking terrifying. Before we move on to shout-outs of the week, a good story. So I dropped on my mate at the match on Saturday, Jack Wakefield. Shout out, Jack. And at the end of the game, my son went down to clap at the front, as he does in every game, not beg for a shirt, and got stood at side of Jack. And Stuart Dallas came over and climbed into the stand and wandered up just to make sure that Jack's little lad got the shirt. Yeah, which is pretty class. So shout out Stuart Dallas. Well done.
That's it. If you're an adult and you're trying to get shirts,
it's a bit odd.
Give them to kids.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. So let's move on to this week's shit house of the week.
Shit house of the week.
So this week's Shit House of the Week nominations has got a very heavy feel of one particular place. Shit House nomination number 1, Leicester's drums at football. Talk to me about drums at football.
You need a drum then.
It's weird. It's pathetic. A weird vibe. Leicester drums. I'm not sure.
Like if you're like Farsley Celtic or something, I'd understand the drum.
Do you know something? In fairness to them, when they scored, and only when they scored, they were quite loud. But the drum just takes the edge off.
They had them clappy things.
Clappers,
they had
paper.
Weird clapper thing. Yeah. Shout out to week nomination number 2. Leicester's goal music.
Yeah, that as well.
Fuck off, get in the bin. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Shout out nomination number 3. Just outside of us was Leicester's version of Justin Bieber, who looked like he'd been sick in a Burberry factory with the biggest fringe I've ever seen, trying to give it big un to me after this scored. And I was like, piss off.
Yeah.
You dickhead.
All these Midlands clubs have like proper boys' pens, don't they?
Weird. Yeah, but they're not boys' pens. Weird. It genuinely looked like.
No, but kids that like they're wearing like Burberry and all that.
Blazing Squad had gid up on music and just decided to take up football. It was fucking bizarre. And then there were like Paris Hilton and a mate who were dressed head to toe in Stone Island at side. She had these massive goggles on all the way through game. And then she started giving it bigger when they scored. I just thought, it's a weird vibe, this.
Yeah.
Very strange.
It's a weird place, Leicester, to be fair.
Yeah. And then the final nomination is Leicester. But we'll stick Putin in there as well because he continues to fucking be a knobhead. So we'll have him.
Yeah,
him.
he's a knobhead.
So lads, who would we like to get? Oh, I've got a stat. Australia has got 6 time zones.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
That's
really?
how big it is.
That's fucking big.
I'm gonna put Australia in shit out of the week for being so big.
Let's put Australia in there for having. Hasn't it got something like a greater population of things that can kill people than people? Something like that. I'm sure it has.
Probably.
Like I'm sure it's a greater population of poisonous snakes than people. I think I read somewhere.
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
It's almost like before that broke away, they sent all the things that are fucking horrible that'll kill you to this little nice place,
Like
and then
prisoners.
broke it away. It's fucking scary.
We sent all our prisoners there, and then they were like, "Oh, well, we've got deadly snakes and spiders and stuff." So
We can't talk about spiders on this podcast. So
No,
I'm
true.
fucking it up. So, lads, who do you want to give it to? Leicester's drum, Leicester's goal music, Leicester's version of Justin Bieber's
John
Hooligan.
Mattison says, "I was at a Leeds game, must have been 10 years ago, and the Leeds fan had a drum. Or the supporter grabbed it and put his foot through it. The only person that is allowed a drum is
Portsmouth.
no, it was that guy that was on Undateables. I can't remember his name.
Oh God, what's he called?
I can't think of his name, but he's allowed a drum. No one else is.
And his
Derek. Is it Derek?
No,
No.
No, that's the
we're doing bad with names tonight.
Derek Gervais guy.
No, I wasn't.
I've seen him at the games a few times. What was he
I
called?
wasn't thinking that.
Come on, somebody in the comments help us out.
can't think of his
Leeds
name.
fan who's on the Undateables. What's he called?
Raymond.
Ray.
Right.
Raymond, yeah.
When his
He's-
missus is Saturday going,
he's
come on,
allowed a drum.
Barnsley. No, not Barnsley. Class.
He's
Absolutely
allowed a drum.
class. Love that.
Just to go back to the whole Leicester clappers goal music.
Weird, man.
We are in danger of dropping out of the Premier League, and there is a club there. Yeah, exactly. There's a club there that has to have goal music and gives fucking clappers out. It's an embarrassment. They won the league 6 years. They won the Premier League 6 years ago, and they're resorting to that level of tin pottery. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. So we'll get them together, as in Leicester's drum goal music and their weird hooligan friend who was trying to abuse me, which was strange. And we'll stick in there Putin and the penalty decision that Jay Patel wants us to stick in as well. Who are we going to give it to this week? The shout of the week.
I mean,
it'd be a bit.
It should be Putin.
It'd be a bit wrong
Leicester.
to devalue what's happening in the in Europe at the moment. But should we just give it to
Leicester. Yeah.
Drum. I'm going to give it specifically to the drum.
Yeah, for being shit and then
Just
us still not winning.
Weird shit. Very, very weird shit. So congratulations, Leicester's drum. You've won shit house of the week.
Yeah.
We'll send you the golden finger at some point. Yeah. Any other business, lads, before we Foxtrot Oscar off this place?
No, I don't think
can you
so.
hear from one of our sponsors? Well,
Yeah.
the only sponsor.
Our only sponsor.
The Terrace. If you want your retro kit culture stuff and clothing, they've just released a new 1919.
I've seen that
It's
hoodie. Yeah,
quite
that's
smart.
all right, yeah.
And the summer is just around the corner. If you want your Leeds Admiral looking, but not Admiral shorts, you can get them.
I
at the
was
Terrace.
very tempted to buy some swim shorts, but I've got loads of swim shorts. So.
Well, the problem I've got a minute is I'm dreadfully out of shape, so I don't think I'll be wearing any shorts at the moment until I get back into
I've been
some
that for a
form
while.
of shape. Rags, will you be donning some swim shorts?
Yeah, maybe I've got a few. I've got a few trips lined up. This.
Have you, mate?
You're running around Prague in swim shorts.
No. It's going to get down to like -4 in Prague this weekend.
Yeah.
So
Is
I
it?
won't be in. Yeah, it's.
I'll be
pretty
calling it
chilly
pub
out
though,
there.
Rags, will it?
No, exactly.
Safe in pub, pal. Safe in pub.
Yeah.
So yeah, go
But
check out.
later on in this spring. So yeah, I'll have to get some.
So sorry, Ben. I thought his mic had got off there for a minute.
Well, it went red and I panicked.
Oh shit. So if you want any retro kit culture mugs, as you can see, I'm just showing to the camera here. A bit crap if it's on a podcast. The official 15 ounce, I think they are. These are 15
big
ounce
ones.
Talking Shutt mug. If you want yourself a 15 ounce Talking Shutt mug, get over to theterracestore.com. Loads of other good stuff on there. Even if you've got a family member who's not a Leeds fan, before you disown them, you can go over there and buy them some stuff. They are licensed with a lot of clubs now, a lot of clubs. So you can
I requested a Las Palmas kit mug.
Yeah, you got a Las Palmas kit mug, didn't you?
I was going to give you that, but then I thought it's not really topical for our podcast, is it?
It is a bit. If people have second clubs like you.
Yeah.
Las Palmas. Anyway, go check out terrorstore.com. Big thanks to them to continue to support us. And obviously, our good mate Mike is a graphic designer over there, so knocking out these great graphics that you see up and down the land. That brings us to the end of episode 184. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it.
I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Jesse. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'll be shitting myself when I get in ground, but I am looking forward to it tomorrow. I'm up in N8 again. I'm becoming a regular in N8, so if anybody sees me up there, don't throw anything at me. Just wave. That'd be nice, and I'll wave back.
Yeah. Don't throw anything at football because you get your picture in newspaper.
Yeah, you do. You become famous in newspaper. Oh, I saw Ben Parker as well at Leicester having a beer in concourse. I had a chat with him and his mate. Nice. Yeah, brings us to an end.
Yeah.
So a big thanks to everybody who has tuned in, liked, and subscribed. If you're listening back to it on a podcast, we need your help. We need you to go to your podcast provider, leave us a 5-star rated review and some nice words. That'd be lovely because we've been a bit neglecting of this.
Just put like it's good.
Yeah, it good. Sometimes.
It good.
Yeah, if the technology works, it's good.
Yeah.
Go team or something like that.
Oh, we're doing all right.
Yeah, we've done all right of late. But yeah, we need your help. We need to get our what do they call it? What is it when you things happen by what do they call it? Analytics, not analytics. What do they call it when algorithms, that's the one. We need to get our algorithms back on board. So
and go watch the Hooked on Leeds video that's on our YouTube.
Yeah, and we'll share. Well, we've shared the link to it yesterday. Go look at it. It's very good. Big shout out to Lucas from Hooked on Leeds doing some cracking little videos for us to collab with him, which I think is the phrase. Rags, thanks for tuning in live from the West Stand, mate, in the Captain's Lounge and the magical time portal that lets you snip in and out of view. Enjoy your weekend in your country where you're going. Don't have a hangover and wake up.
I'm going to do a match report because we're going to check game, check League One game. So
we want feedback next week. Try and take some videos.
Take some videos, and we'll put them on YouTube.
I'll try. I will try. I'm promising nothing.
Just Prague.
Oof. Yeah, maybe not, but yeah, I'll try. I'll try and get some.
There'll be too much pills.
Too much Star Apram.
Star Apram and what a beer that is. Anyway, we'll see there. Thanks very much for tuning in. Much love.
See there.